What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 411. And I apologize, guys, for the delay on the episode. A lot of stuff, man. I keep saying this like every episode, and I keep repeating myself, but I'm doing so much stuff behind the scenes that I wish I could talk about. But when the time comes, you guys will know. You guys will see it visually too, which is awesome. So I'm just trying to like balance everything out as Diverse Mentality grows, which thank God it's growing at a good rate right now. We're having a lot of success in some fields that we'll talk about when the time is right. But that's really the delays. This is why I'm kind of glad I made it a one episode a week, because 2 episodes a week I wouldn't have been able to fulfill properly at all. There have been way more massive delays than doing 1 episode a week. So let's get into the news, and it's unfortunately some sad news. It's Tay Keith. Tay Keith, probably one of the biggest producers in the last 10 years, has passed away at the age of 29 years old. That's crazy to say because I'm 31, and to me that's like that's young. Let's go over the news, and we're going to be talking about what their family has to say. So the shocking loss of iconic Memphis producer Tay Keith at age 29 sent immediate shockwaves throughout the hip-hop world. With fans, friends, and collaborators paying their respects, his family has now issued a statement per XXL, and their message from yesterday, Friday, Juneteenth, honors the artist's incredible work in music and his commitment to community and advocacy. It is with profound sadness that we confirm the passing of Britavious Tay Keith Chambers, the statement reportedly read. Britavious was a visionary producer, songwriter, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and cultural force whose work helped define the sound of a generation. From Memphis to the global stage, he shaped countless hits and left a lasting mark on music and culture. He was deeply committed to creating opportunities for others through his company, Dramatized. That's actually interesting. That's a cool name. Supporting emerging songwriters, producers, and artists. A proud graduate and honorary professor of Middle Tennessee State University, Britavious remained an active alumnus, mentor, and advocate for young creatives. He was also a passionate supporter of mental health awareness and cancer-related causes in honor of his late mother. Above all, Britavious was a beloved son, brother, uncle, family member, and friend. While the world knew him as Tay Keith, his family knew him as Britavious, a source of love, strength, laughter, and guidance. We take comfort in knowing that his legacy will live on through the music he created, the opportunities he provided, and the lives he touched. We respectfully ask for privacy and continued prayers for his family and loved ones during this difficult time. Memorial arrangements will be shared at a later date. So Metro Nashville police reportedly found Tay Keith unresponsive in his Nashville apartment on Thursday, June 18th, during a welfare check. In a statement, they expressed they suspected no foul play in his sudden and tragic passing, awaiting further autopsy reports to confirm a cause of death. Elsewhere, a difficult situation with Tay Keith resurfaced, which is the sexy red thing, but they addressed that and said that all that's finalized. There's a royalties agreement, stuff like that. Yeah, man, this is what I mean by hip hop. I feel like hip hop's the only genre that takes so many hits. The past probably 15 years, hip hop has taken like massive hits when it comes to newer generations. And I don't know if it's the drug wave, which I think it is contributed to that. The drug wave being a lot like, promoting drugs more in the music and making it cool. Because, you got Juice WRLD that died from overdosing. You got Lil Peep. You got now Tay Keith. You have a lot of people, man, that I can't think off the top of my head right now. But then obviously the violence plays a role into it as well. But I feel like the drug overdose did a lot more in a lot of situations, in my eyes. I think the violence definitely played a role, though, to a certain extent. And that's what I mean. Like, Tay Keith is 29. And he was still delivering great production. Imagine, maybe in the next 10 years, he could be another super producer. Sorry, somebody called me in the middle of the podcast. So back to what I was saying is we're losing a lot of these hip hop legends over things that are like just dumb, or utterly dumb. And hip hop's never going to elevate and become something big if we just keep losing the creative, geniuses. Because Tay Keith has been doing this for a long time, man. That Sicko Mode record, when's the first big? I think it was 2014, 2015, and he still has hits in 2026. So that's a 10-year career that, mind you, this guy basically had a hit at 18, 19 years old. That's insane. Your life changes completely at that point. But yeah, man, young, rest in peace, legend in the game, made his stamp 100%. Probably one of the best producers in that 2010s to 2020s. Definitely top 5 to me. So yeah, rest in peace and condolences to his family and friends. A little bit more to positive news, and Nipsey Hussle's collab album with Bino gets an official release date. So let's go over this. Nipsey Hussle's legacy has lived on ever since his tragic passing in 2019, whether it be through entrepreneurial endeavors or simply the impact of his music. Fans have remembered the artist fondly. Throughout the time, posthumous music from the artist has been rare, to say the least. Posthumous releases are already a hot topic of debate. Oftentimes, they are done without any regard for the artist. We have seen it time and time again with various artists who have passed away in recent years. However, Bino is looking to honor Nipsey in the best way possible. The artist has been teasing their collaborative project for a while now, and it appears as though a release date has finally been announced. Furthermore, we now know the album will be called Prolific. I'm excited for it. I hate that it's a collab album, but I would like a solo album, but I guess maybe they don't have the amount of music, or maybe they just feel this is the right way to do it. So I'm excited for it. I'm happy. Anything Nipsey related, I'm excited, ecstatic, because I haven't heard anything from him in a long time. So this is a little bit more positive news that I hope you guys, enjoy, because I can't wait till August 14th. It'll be great. Diddy got another sentence reduction. Yes. So he is looking to basically be free earlier and earlier and earlier. He's getting lucky. I don't know how or why, but hey, that's what happens when you're worth a lot of money. Last year, Diddy was convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Furthermore, he was acquitted on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. As a result of this conviction, the music mogul received a 50-month prison sentence. While the mogul is still trying to appeal his conviction, he is still garnering some legal victories. For instance, on Monday, we reported that his case against Don Richard was thrown out of federal court. Yeah, so I was going to talk about that. On Tuesday, it was revealed that Diddy caught another break. According to People, the mogul has had another 2 months taken off his sentence. Originally, he was supposed to be released on June 4th, 2028. The date has gotten moved up to April 28th before switching to April 15th. Now he is slated to be released February 23rd, 2028. This guy's getting months and months shaved off his time. And for what reason? A reason for the change has not been made available. Yeah, he's probably just paying motherfuckers. However, there's a belief that this stems from Diddy's good behavior and participation in a drug rehab at FCI Fort Dix. Yeah, sure. In order to address drug abuse issues and to maximize family visitation and rehabilitation efforts, we request that the court strongly recommend to the Bureau of Prisons that Mr. Combs be placed at FCI Fort Dix. Interesting. Yeah, so that's allegedly why his sentence got reduced, because he's been a good behavior and he's doing drug rehab and all this and yeah. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Don Richard's lawsuit against Diddy has been dismissed. So I called this from a while ago that majority of these lawsuits that he got hit with, which is, let's just say it's 100 lawsuits, 80 to 85 of them are bullshit. They're just money grabs because they see Diddy's in a bad situation. Probably 90% of them are bullshit. There is some truth in some of them probably, but majority are just money grabs. Let's go over this. Diddy has scored a major legal victory today as Don Richard's lawsuit against him was dismissed from federal court. According to TMZ, Judge Catherine Polk Valilia ruled that all 18 of Richard's claims could not be pursued at the federal level for a multitude of reasons. What should be made abundantly clear about this ruling is that the judge did not give her opinion on the veracity of Richard's claims. Instead, the judge ruled that there were some filing errors as well as other procedural issues that would hinder this case from ever seeing a trial. For instance, 15 of Richard's allegations were outside of the statute of limitations. There were 2 other claims involving the song Deliver Me, although copyright issues led to those claims being dismissed as well. Lastly, the judge felt as though the gender-motivated violence claim should be tried in a state court and not a federal one. In fact, the judge gave Richard and her legal team a glimmer of hope by suggesting an alternative route. New York City has a Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Act, which allows for women to pursue legal action regardless of how much time has passed. Richard's lawyers have made it clear that this will be her next step. We're certainly disappointed in the dismissals. Attorney Atrick Fadoli of the Bloom firm explained. However, we're very encouraged that the judge chose not to dismiss with prejudice and basically just refer the Gender Motivated Violence Act claim to state court. We feel very confident in Gender Motivated Violence Act claims. We believe those are our primary claims anyway. We're encouraged with the ability to pursue our Gender Motivated Act claims in the state court. So there you have it. Another dismissal, another victory for Diddy, but there might go a different route. So maybe she does have something. Who knows? But it's all about what you can prove. So we'll see what happens moving forward. Updates on Lil Durk's murder for hire trial or case that's coming up. And it looks like two people are deciding to sever ties with Lil Durk. Basically, I don't know, maybe turning on him, which is no surprise here. But two people charged in Lil Durk's trial have asked the judge to remove them from the trial, arguing that they're being tried for murders that they have nothing to do with. According to documents obtained by All Hip Hop, DeAndre Wilson, also known as OTFDD, and David Lindsay, known as Brown Eyes, recently renewed a bid to sever ties from the trial. In the government's third superseding indictment, the Banks Gang enterprise, as described by prosecutors, was hit with new charges. The charges relate to a string of shootings since 2019. One of them included an attempted murder in Atlanta that year. The next surrounding an alleged attempted murder of Quando Rondo and Blacks Here GA in 2021. The next is the 2022 shooting of Stephon Mack in Chicago in January, and then the murder of Lil Pab in Beverly Hills in August. Wilson and Lindsay's attorneys argued that there's no real evidence that ties them to these incidents. Neither name is in the Atlanta shooting nor the Chicago shooting, which reportedly involves unnamed co-conspirators. Lindsay's sole tie to the Chicago shooting is when he appeared at a video shoot where Durk had $1 million in cash, which is that, I think, Don't Respond to Shit with Vaughn, that record. However, his attorney said that the cash is a regular prop in music videos and can't actually back up any claims of criminal intent. Moreover, they also pointed out that the court determined that it's clearly prejudicial to use clips from music videos of the defendants holding guns and cash as evidence. Ultimately, the defense for both believes that the jury's judgment will be clouded if they have to sit through the testimony related to these other violent crimes unrelated to Lindsay and Wilson, and then try to determine the verdict for their charges separate from it. We'll keep you posted on any more updates related to the trial. That's crazy. But hey, man, they got some valid points, man. If they're nowhere near tied to anything, just because they're at a music video, how do they get charged with anything? How do they get associated with anything? That's ridiculous. But hey, every day a new twist. So we'll keep our eyes posted on this murder for hire case that's going to be happening. Mystikal has received a 20-year prison sentence for rape following guilty plea. This guy has been like in and out of prison for rape for so long. Like, how does this guy get out? It's just surprising to me. So let's go over this. Mystikal's fate was decided on Tuesday in Louisiana as a judge gave Grammy-nominated rapper 20 years in prison for rape. Prior to yesterday's sentencing, the artist had pleaded guilty to third-degree rape back in March. However, prior to sentencing, Mystikal made a last-minute attempt to have his guilty plea stricken from the record. The rapper said he did not have sufficient opportunity to fully consider the consequences, according to CNN. In the end, the judge decided to not honor his request. Instead, the rapper's victim got to address the court, revealing the full extent of her allegations. She explained how the artist had pulled her braids, punched her, choked her, and raped her as well. Mystikal responded to the victim saying, "If I did that to you, I deserve the max sentence." In the end, the judge took him up on the offer, giving him 20 years, which is the recommended maximum sentence following the plea deal. Wow, the judge is not playing fucking games. The rapper had been arrested for the crime back in 2022 and was being held at the Assanin Parish Jail without bond. Now he'll be going to prison for the next 15 to 20 years, depending on how the courts calculate his time served. This is not the first time that Mystikal has been convicted and sentenced for a sex-related crime. In 2003, the artist received a 6-year prison sentence for sexual battery. He pleaded guilty to that case as well. According to CNN, Mystikal refused to comment on his sentencing. His lawyers also denied a comment on the conclusion of the case. Yeah, fuck this guy. Locked up. Get him the fuck up out of here. Clearly, there's more than enough evidence to convict this guy. Yeah, there was like records that were him like just basically admitting to rape or doing stuff that was like aggressive towards women in the lyrics. And these people kind of tell on themselves, man, through the music, but you don't really hear it because of the beat, you know, the flow, the delivery. You kind of just ignore it. But yeah, man, this guy should have been locked up longer for the first situation. 6 years wasn't enough. That guy should have got 15 at least. He clearly didn't learn his lesson. But yeah, good riddance, man. Nobody's going to miss you. And yeah, by the time he gets out, well, how old is he? He's like 50 something. I think by the time he gets out, he's going to be like 75 if he's lucky to live that long. So it's basically a life sentence for him. But yeah, that's the end on that situation. Floyd Mayweather is back in some trouble financially, and this time he is facing felony charges, and 50 Cent is offering to help him. If you haven't been keeping up, Floyd has been facing an astronomical amount of financial issues, from one of his private jets being written off as someone else's and stolen from him, to watches being loaned, to take out another loan, to him not reading his contracts and people, you know, basically stealing from him without him realizing, to him blaming companies not paying him. And now, just recently, Floyd has been hit with 2 felonies for writing a fraudulent check. So let's go over the article of what's going on. Floyd Mayweather is in deep trouble in Las Vegas. The boxing legend is facing felony theft and intent to defraud charges after allegedly buying a $200,000 Audemars Piguet watch with a reportedly bogus check. The 50-0 fighter is accused of stifling Las Vegas shop Gold and Beyond in December 2024. According to the complaint filed earlier this year, Mayweather had insufficient money, property, or credit to pay for the jewelry. And prosecutors believe he was aware of that when he used the check tied to a Wells Fargo's account to pay for the item. A court hearing was held on Monday where Mayweather was represented by his legal team. Mayweather is facing prison time if found guilty of either charge. The theft could range from 1 to 20 years behind bars, and the fraud could be 1 to 4 years. An attorney representing the jewelry store told ESPN their client wanted to give Mayweather plenty of opportunities to make things right before taking it to court, but was eventually ghosted. The reason for the delay is that my guy trusted Mayweather and was trying to give him every opportunity to make good on that, Mark Cook of Cook and Kelsey's told the outlet. And it got to the point where he wasn't getting responses and wasn't getting money for the watch that Mayweather had for well over a year. Mayweather has seemingly run into serious financial problems recently, and he's not only suing Showtime and taking his former business partner to court for more than $500 million combined, but also allegedly owes more than $7 million in unpaid taxes. If that's the case, it might explain why he's taking an exhibition with Greek fighter Mike Zambidis later this month, which he still intends to travel to despite the ongoing legal issues. Yes, he has taken fights, exhibitions, he's not counting them as official fights, left and right, and what's crazy is 50 Cent has been speaking about this and saying this for years and years and years, and people just, brushed it off as 50 hating and 50, trolling or whatever. But as the text messages and as the paperwork is starting to come out for all these things, it's clear this guy has a spending problem. And one of his managers, there were some text messages that leaked where one of his managers was like begging him to stop spending money because he doesn't have that much money to spend. And it's crazy to think about because this guy's made over $1 billion boxing in total. So let's just say he nets 500 million of that or 400 million of that. It is damn near impossible, unless you're just stupid, dumb spending every day, to blow $400 million. I mean, you would have to be spending every single day and bringing in no new money every day $1 million till you blow through it at all. I mean, at that point of having $400 million, you can have your money work for you. Just put it in S&P 500, put like 50 million in S&P 500, get 8% interest, and you're walking away with what? I don't even know what the amount, $4 million a year without having to do anything. And you still have that 50 million, and you can borrow money on your money and take loans out of it. And it seems like Floyd has been doing that to a certain extent, but he's been taking loans to pay off loans to pay off loans. And that is an endless cycle with endless interest that just screws you over. Anyways, after these reports came out, 50 Cent decided to chime in, and he decided to take a surprising approach. 50 posted the article of Floyd having financial issues with the fraudulent checks, and in the caption he said this: "Damn champ, what the F is up? If you need some money, just call me. We could have kept this from getting so messy. Now the feds are looking for you. Love you, bro. I'm not mad at you no more. Call me." And, people will probably brush this off as 50 trolling and try to use this against Floyd. He'll try to troll him and show that really Floyd is struggling. But I genuinely think 50 had major love for Floyd Mayweather because they were cool since 2003, 2004. And really the fallout that happened was, and this is on 50's side of things, and even Floyd kind of agreed with how the fallout happened, and it was over a boxing company that they were going to start together called the Money Team. And 50 wanted to start a boxing company and properly structure his business so that when he starts a promotions boxing company, it's properly structured out. And Floyd was locked up at that time for some domestic violence charges, and 50 decided to take it up, himself to do it. And when Floyd got out, 50 was like, "Hey, put in your portion of the money for this business and let's go, half-half, and let's build this boxing promotions company." Floyd then, according to 50, said, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I never agreed to do this." And then it left 50 on the hook to do his own boxing promotions company, which ended up being SMS Promotions, which ended up ultimately flopping and obviously, because 50's heart probably wasn't 100% in it. He probably just wanted to do his half with Floyd, and, you know, doing it full time, he probably was like, I don't have time for this. But he tried, and, you know, it did what it did at the time. And that's really where the fallout, you know, ended up happening. And then they got back together as friends, I believe, in like 2017, 2018. And then a fallout again happened. So their relationship's on and off, and 50, I think, has respect for him, but he's always said that Floyd is just, you know, get the money, spend the money, get the money, spend the money. And that's always been his motto. And there's reports of Floyd taking the women's purses that he bought, like the big expensive Birkin bags that cost $100,000, $300,000. Those purses that he bought for women, he was taking back and using them as leverage for loans. So you know it's bad when that happens, when you're using like purses that you bought for women that are $100,000, $50,000, $150,000, $300,000 as loans to get other loans, and have people hold that while you get another loan. It's just like, that's bad. That's a cycle of just horrible and just bad investments. Floyd got into a lot of things with companies and people, and they just stole money from him. And it's sad because in one of the text messages, Floyd says, I worked my whole life for all this stuff, and you guys are just robbing me. And that's sad. But also, this is a guy who is very, very flamboyant with his money, and really just makes fun of people that don't have money, and is like, yo, I can do this, I can do that, I got all this, I got all that. And look where he's up in a situation where he's ended up having money issues. And it doesn't look good, man. Overall, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for his brand, his identity, because he's Floyd Money Mayweather and the money team. And despite the recession, we're blowing money. So, yeah, that's the update on it. Let me know what you guys think. I think he's going to be going through a lot of turmoil. But I think it's Floyd Mayweather at the end of the day, man. That brand, that name is still, you know, known worldwide. He's arguably one of the best boxers in the world. So with that brand, you can still do something. Now, you can't live that amazing lifestyle that you had when you were boxing and making $100 million or $60 million or $40 million a fight, but you can still live a great lifestyle, a top 1% lifestyle. At the end of the day, a top 1% earner is somebody that makes over $400,000 a year. That's usually the top 1%. And he clearly makes that no problem. Just off his brand name, he can make $1 million in a year, no problem. Now, is that a drastic life change? A little bit, yeah, but you're still not broke at the end of the day. Compared to like me and you and the average people, you know, he's still really rich. He's still making money. But we'll keep our eye on this and see what happens moving forward. And do you guys think 50's offer is genuine or not? Floyd Mayweather is hit with another lawsuit. So let's go over it. And this one's pretty damaging. On the heels of the rumors that he may be facing felony charges, Floyd Mayweather is facing new legal challenge less than 2 weeks before his scheduled exhibition bout in Greece. According to TMZ Sports, CSI Entertainment has filed a lawsuit in New York seeking $4.65 million in repayment and injunction, barring Mayweather from participating in his June 27 exhibition against Greek boxing star Mike Zambidis, while the case moves through the courts. At the center of the dispute are a pair of proposed exhibition events involving Mike Tyson and Manny Pacquiao that never came to fruition. CSI alleges it paid roughly $2 million in advances to Mayweather's management company, First Apex Ventures, after securing what it believed were exclusive promotional rights to the fights. The company claims the agreements gave it sole authority to promote the events and alleges Mayweather personally approved the arrangements. Reported by Boxing News 24/7, the financial stakes appear even larger when it comes to Pacquiao. CSI alleges Mayweather was guaranteed $35 million plus 20% pay-per-view revenue for a rematch with his longtime rival. The lawsuit claims that the figure could have climbed to $50 million if the event had been structured outside of pay-per-view. Court filings further allege that Mayweather later became involved in separate discussions surrounding another Pacquiao fight that was expected to stream on Netflix. A move CSI argues violated the exclusivity provisions of its agreements. The lawsuit arrives at a complicated moment for Mayweather, who is already pursuing separate litigation against First Apex Ventures and his former manager in that case. The undefeated boxing icon is seeking $175 million in damages and alleges he was defrauded by individuals involved in his business affairs. Neither Mayweather nor representations of First Apex Ventures had publicly responded to the latest allegations at the time of the publication. Basically, a bunch of money, debt, lawsuit. Deals eventually crumble when they're built on debt and constantly owing people and constantly having to basically pay this guy to pay this guy to pay this guy to get this money from this guy to get this money from this guy and get this money from this guy. 50 alleges that Mayweather called him and that 50 missed the call. And Mayweather is just like, hey, all press is good press. He doesn't care. He's like, press is press. He posts on his Instagram. He doesn't give two fucks about the reports that's going on. So what else is Mayweather going to say? You know, I mean, he's not going to be like, oh my God, I'm in massive debt and brush it off either. He didn't brush it off. He's just like, hey, press is press. It is what it is. And that's how he's always responded to any type of press that's come out. He's just like, hey, you're still mentioning my name. I'm in the headlines, whatever. But yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward. He's got felony charges now with fake checks and now this going on and a heap of other things that he's going through. So maybe the fights will get him out of the situation, but we'll see. Nicki Minaj decided to finally do an interview, and it was an interesting choice. He decided to appear on this guy's podcast, which is Bryce Crawford. And on this podcast, I've never seen it before. This is the first time I've watched it because Nicki Minaj is on there. And apparently the podcast is related towards, at least the subject matter is towards finding Jesus Christ and believing in God more. And that's the overall theme. So Nicki Minaj decided to appear on this podcast, and the guy ended up asking a very interesting question about the music industry because she was heavily in the music industry, deep into, you know, making music. And a lot of people equate music with satanic vibes and energy and all that. And Nicki Minaj essentially exposes the music industry and confirms that and says that music is a way to push negative things, talk about materialistic things to make people feel like they're worth less because we're over here making all this money and being all flashy and everything is looking like it's perfect. But in reality, that's not the case. So here's one clip I want to share with you guys, and then I'm going to talk about it after.
And I know you have been in some powerful rooms and powerful places growing up in many aspects of your life. I mean, I got so many questions on this, but being just in general in the music scene for a second, do you think that the music scene as a whole, just a broad statement, do you think the music scene is very demonically organized? Is there a lot of crazy stuff that happens in there? Can you kind of tell me a little bit about that?
Well, it sure isn't driving people to God. It's, you know, it definitely isn't making people want God more because it focuses on the worship of material things. And we all play a part in it. I've played a part in it, of course. It's not healthy over time. It's not healthy mentally and for the soul, you know, emotionally. I mean, look at all the young people right now that have to grow up in the Instagram era where everyone is, you know, editing and photoshopping and everyone thinks the other person looks like that in real life.
Yeah.
And these children, I can't imagine. I always think about this. I say these kids are so strong because I cannot imagine having to have dealt with this while I was growing up and, you know, while you're changing, you know, your body, your face, everything about you and, you know, is changing. And then you have to constantly compare yourself to other people. And what does that do to the self-esteem of these young people?
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what I think is very demonic about the industry as a whole, is that it makes people feel that they're never enough. And if you feel like you're never enough, how can you be happy?
Yeah.
I guess I feel a sense of responsibility too a lot of the times because a lot of the stuff that I was rapping about, I didn't, you know, I was so young too. I didn't realize that there are young people listening to it and how it could probably make them make certain decisions that wasn't, you know, really thought out. Now, if I could do it all over again, I would have changed a lot of things that I said because I just don't like the idea of thinking that these people will now grow up wanting to change themselves as opposed to loving themselves, you know?
So that's interesting. She is saying that, you know, the music industry, which we know, I mean, the average person knows that they're not pushing to, you know, be closer to God. They're pushing more satanic, demonic stuff. And she makes a really good point that's interesting. She says that the younger generation, I don't know how they're coming up and having to deal with this. Like, it's very hard. And I agree with that. I think today's generation with social media, incredibly hard because now you have all kinds of people judging you, options, comparisons that you have to make. So it's way worse. When I was 14, 15, I dealt with a little bit of social media, but in my 20s is when I saw it more, so a little bit more mature. But she also makes an interesting point that she regrets some of the lyrics that she put in her music. She wishes she could go back in time and change some of that. And that is a powerful thing to say because obviously some of those hits and those records is what got her in the position she's at financially and success-wise. So to say, hey, I matured and the music that I made back then, most artists wouldn't admit that. Most artists wouldn't say that because what that does is if her fans are watching this and saying, yeah, I mean, damn, that music is kind of messed up. That kind of like puts a shame to her old music and maybe makes people not listen to it in the past, which is, an honorable thing to say. That's really, really, something that I don't hear from artists in general. And then she gets asked the question about the Illuminati, which is this secret society that everybody has mentioned in the music industry and in Hollywood where these elites take control and push certain narratives. Now, I think there is elites in the industry, in every industry, and I think there's elites overall, and that they push buttons and they move things. But to hear it from somebody that was in the industry at this level, because we've heard some artists talk about the Illuminati. We've heard things, whisperings here and there. But an artist of her level and what she's had to deal with regarding, being kind of kicked out of the industry, speaking on it is interesting. So check it out.
Is the Illuminati real? Like, is that, I know people use that label to name like, okay, powerful people, but so take that with a grain of salt, like that label of Illuminati, like as a group, like, is there an actual group of powerful people that kind of control everything?
Okay, let me say, my situation is I feel like it's very personal. Like, I feel that there definitely is a group of people that have made things very difficult for me. But I don't know if, they're Illuminati. I don't know what they are. I always was looking at it as if this was a personal issue, that one person didn't really like me and they happened to be in a powerful position, and they were able to use their influence to make people go against me. And that because, they couldn't get certain money with me, that, they wanted the money not to come to me. I never looked at it as if it was like an entire secret society against me.
Yeah.
But who knows? It could be. It could have been. Who knows? But however, it definitely has been spiritual. Now, what they call themselves and what they proclaim to be, only they could tell you that.
Yeah.
But has it been a spiritual warfare? Absolutely.
That's very interesting. I think here she is like subliminally talking about Jay-Z, because she's had a lot of issues with Jay-Z, Rock Nation, so on and so forth. But, she's not going to say directly because I think it's just going to bring on more problems. But let me know what you guys think, man. I think the music industry definitely has things that is very questionable. I mean, there's a lot of rumors going around with the Oliver Tree thing and him passing away and him leaving Atlantic Records and them having an issue with his music, this and that, and him trying to leave. And, there's death clauses in artists' contracts that when they die, these labels get to essentially take the money for the most part. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the music industry that a lot of people don't know about. And I want to eventually do a documentary on death clauses because there is one on YouTube that's really good. But I actually want to expand on that and, talk about that more. But I'll do that in the future. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, man. I think Nicki Minaj is headed down a right path. I like to see more artists at this level speak about these things. Even if they release music later on that, kind of contradicts what they're talking about, at least being open and talking about is interesting. It's something. It sparks a conversation. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Some news on Drake's OVO clothing, and some of it's good and some of it is kind of bad. Publicly, it looks bad, but when you actually deep dive into it, it's not really that bad. So let's go over the good news. Drake is reportedly in talks to sell 50% of OVO to Authentic Brands Group. So let's go over this. Drake has built himself an incredibly successful clothing brand in OVO. The brand continues to bring forth collaborations with major entities like NHL, NFL, and Looney Tunes. With the success of Iceman, OVO is preparing for a major influx of interest. And according to reports, an acquisition could be inbound. In a new report from Puck News, it is revealed that Drake's people are in talks to sell 50% of the OVO brand. This share of the company would be going to Authentic Brands Group, which is one of the biggest licensors on the planet. Authentic Brands Group works with the likes of Champion, Sports Illustrated, and even Reebok. Furthermore, they have the rights to the likeness of Shaq, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis, and Muhammad Ali. Needless to say, this is a company that can take OVO to the next level when it comes to collaborations and other forms of licensing. At this time, it is unknown how much the deal would cost ABG. One would have to assume that the OVO brand is worth hundreds of millions of dollars at this point. Meanwhile, it's unclear what stage both sides are at in terms of the negotiations. The deal could get done tomorrow, or it could fall through. At this time, both sides are just talking. Regardless, this is a huge deal for Drake when you consider that a deal like this could do wonders for both OVO and his personal wealth. Ultimately, we are interested in seeing how this develops. I am too. But something else came out. And this is OVO's clothing brand get hit with a lawsuit. And this is going to be interesting. So let me go through this and kind of explain at least what I think is going on. Drake struck gold this year with Iceman, but other questions around his October's very own company threatened to taint that success story. That's because of the new report from the National Law Review about an alleged lawsuit against the company for failing to satisfy outstanding debt. Per the outlet, the suit over multiple loan payment defaults comes from ARI, OVO Growth Capital, against OVO ULC in British Columbia, Canada. The Six God co-founded OVO alongside Oliver and Noah, expanding its musical borders to lifestyle investment and other consumer products and initiatives. ARI reportedly seeks at least $4.6 million in addition to default interest, legal fees, and other accruing amounts under financing agreements. The lawsuit claims OVO generated $72 million in revenue in 2024 and almost $400 million between 2019 and 2024, while operating at a loss, reportedly losing $8 million in that time frame and $12 million from 2022 to 2024. The lawsuit reportedly claims ARR provided OVO with various financing transition plans in 2025. However, it claims the company defaulted under convertible promissory notes of over $5 million, failing to make proper payments and breaching other elements of financing agreements. OVO reportedly entered a formal forbearance agreement in March of this year. But ARI claims they only partially paid the money that they were supposed to, refusing and disputing alleged obligations to comply with other contractual amounts. As such, we will see this if this lawsuit leads to a win for OVO or a deeper financial hole. Now, this, from the way I'm reading it, is that Drake's OVO got a loan. They paid it off way early, and this company is mad that they paid it off early because they didn't get the interest that they were hoping to get. It's like you taking a car loan, and it's what is an average car loan nowadays? 70 months, let's just say that. And you pay it off in 36 months. And then they get mad and sue you for the rest of the months because you paid it off so early. And they can't accrue interest like they were planning on doing. That's essentially what this is. They said, like, hey, we could have made $4.6 million in interest if they didn't pay this off early. And I think they paid this off early because of the deal that's coming with that other brand that I just talked about earlier, the 50% purchase deal. Usually when you're selling like 50% of your company, you usually clear out all the debts and then you sell the company that portion, and that's how things go. But we'll see as time goes on. I don't think Drake is, struggling to make $4.6 million. I think just the Genesis record probably made that for him just recently. So we'll see, but interesting nonetheless, man. Something to hear from OVO's clothing, because we usually don't hear much about OVO clothing at all. We just see a little bit of brand deals here and there, collaborations, and that. I never really heard, like with G-Unit and Sean John and Rockefeller and, all these clothing brands. You usually hear like massive deals and you hear like cool things, but with OVO's clothing brand, we don't really hear much. But I actually, to be honest with you, if I'm being 100% honest with you, I've never seen anybody wear OVO. Like that I knew 100% was OVO. Maybe somebody was wearing it, I just didn't notice it. But I've never seen somebody wear OVO clothing yet. So I don't know how big it is. Not to diss them or anything, but I just never seen it in my life. I've never purchased it either. So we'll see what happens moving forward, though. Apple Music decided to reveal to chart data their top 20 most streamed artists on their platforms. And if you guys don't know, Spotify publicly shares their numbers. Apple Music doesn't, probably because they don't want to look like they're very small compared to Spotify, because I'm pretty sure Spotify dominates like 70% of the market. But regardless, they decided to reveal the numbers to chart data. Well, not the specific numbers, but the most streamed artists. So let's go over this full list. The list starts out at number 20, Eminem, which is shocking because Eminem is, an artist that came out in 1999. So for him to be in the top 20 list, huge salute to him. Then number 19, Justin Bieber. Number 18, Ed Sheeran. Number 17, Rod Wave. Number 16, Gunna, which is cool. Number 15, Lil Durk. Number 14, Kendrick Lamar. Number 13, Chris Brown, which I think is the other oldest artist. Or there's going to be a few. Actually, no, there's only like 3 that came out in the 2000s on this list. Yeah, so number 14, Kendrick Lamar. Number 13, Chris Brown. Number 12, Ariana Grande. Number 11, Travis Scott. Number 10, Post Malone. Number 9, Kanye West. So that's another 2000s artist. Number 8, Morgan Wallen. Number 7, The Weeknd. Number 6, Lil Baby, which was shocking to me. I was like, damn, he's doing crazy numbers. Number 5, Bad Bunny. Number 4, NBA Youngboy, which is shocking again. Number 3, Future. Number 2, Taylor Swift. And of course, number 1, Drake. No surprise there to me. I was talking with my friend. And he was like, Eminem's going to be the highest on the list. I'm like, nah, bro, you're tripping. But Eminem is the only artist to come out in the 90s that's on that list. And then there are only 2, technically 3 artists that came out in 2000s, which would be Justin Bieber. That's 1. Actually, 3 or 4. So Justin Bieber is in the 2000s that came out. I wouldn't count Kendrick Lamar. Chris Brown, Kanye West, and Taylor Swift. And if you count Drake, because he came out technically with his mixtape in 2009, but 2010 is when his first album came out. So up to you on that if you want to count that. But 4 or 5 artists came out in the 2000s. And then the rest are 2010s and up, which, those artists you expect to start dominating the streaming because that's when mid 2010s is when streaming started to become a thing and it started adding towards charts. So big salute to Eminem for being the only artist from the 90s, and then the rest, 2000s and 2010s and some in the 2020s. But yeah, big salute to Drake. Shout out to him. Always dominating. No shock here. Anybody complaining or bitching or saying this and that, it is what it is. So we'll see. Hopefully Apple Music one day has the courage to actually reveal numbers, because I would love to see that, just to see how people are doing other streaming. And we can actually see combined, because you can only judge Spotify. You can't judge all these other platforms, combining them, seeing what numbers they're doing. But it is what it is. And that's the list. Salute to Eminem, Drake, Kendrick, everybody that did their thing. CD streams. Streams is a new era. I know a lot of people don't like it, but Drake was moving CDs as well. As much as people want to not admit it or hate it. I mean, Views did 860,000 first week just off of physical CDs. And then you add on the streaming, it did 1 million in total first week. But just off of CDs, it did about 860,000 first week. So people are saying that Drake can't move CDs. That's a false narrative. But hey, it is what it is. This is some really cool news. So Ice Cube's Big 3 basketball league is going to go public with a massive valuation. And this is big because, first off, it's a rapper doing this. And the league is interesting because it gives a lot of old basketball players that aren't working opportunities to still do what they love and still have a career and make money while doing it, while entertaining people and while the business flourishes. So let's go over this. Ice Cube is not just a legendary artist, but also an actor and entrepreneur. Over the last few years, Cube has been looking to grow his revolutionary basketball league. The Big 3 is a 3-on-3 basketball league that experiments with the rules to create a truly unique product. Furthermore, the league is packed with talent, as there are former NBA stars who participate. While Cube has had some challenges growing the league, he has kept at it, and now he finds himself on the precipice of something extraordinary. According to ESPN, the Big 3 is the first professional sports league in North America to go public. This means you can purchase stock in the league. It is a unique idea that fits within Cube's fan-centered version of the league. To make matters even more impressive, the league has been given a valuation of $290 million. We said we was changing the game, and we still doing it. Shout out to Ice Cube. Throughout the years, Cube has seen the league earn TV deals with CBS. Furthermore, he even held the league's championship game in the Bahamas back in 2021. It just goes to show that he is always thinking of new ways to build a league. Whether it be through one-on-one foul shot structure or the 4-point circle, the Big Three is one of those leagues that makes sports fun. Oftentimes, the NBA can find itself becoming predictable and tiresome, but the Big Three version of the sport has unique twists to it that fans find compelling. And needless to say, it's cool to see Cube's success. Yes, it is. Round of applause to him, man. That is huge. And I know he's faced a lot of like backlash from the NBA and just people trying to stop him from growing his own league. So big thing, man. I hope he keeps ownership of it, maintains strong ownership of it, and pushes it, man. Hopefully the valuation gets to billions, and more billions, because I think Ice Cube is one of those massive legends that deserves it. So shout out to him, and happy birthday. He just had a birthday recently, so happy belated birthday to him. Let's get into it. New music. Key Glock dropped Project X. I got to check that out. Ye dropped the Bully Deluxe, but canceled it and delayed it. YG, the Gentleman's Club album, Alchemist, Liquid Form, the EP. Shaq and Corey Guns dropped Bunsen and Cat. That's interesting. Chris Brown dropped Brown, basically the deluxe version of the album. D12 dropped D12 Forever. I got to check that out because I think My Salsa is on there. And Eminem was scheduled to be on there, but I guess didn't make the time frame, which is sad. I wish they would have pushed the album back for that, but it is what it is. That's it for new projects. Album sales. Olivia Rodrigo officially dethrones Drake with Iceman. Her album debuted at number 1. You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. It's a long-ass album title. And she did 470,000 first week, with half of them being CD sales, well, vinyl sales, because vinyls are really the stuff that's selling. So impressive numbers, man, not just from streaming, half from each. Drake's Iceman at number 2 with 105,000. Number 3, Ella Langley, Dandelion with 83,000. Number 4, Morgan Wallen, I'm the Problem with 77,000. Number 5, Noah Khan, The Great Divide with 69,000. Number 6, Michael Jackson, Thriller with 50,000. Number 7, Michael Jackson, Number 1s with 47,000. Number 8, Morgan Wallen, One Thing at a Time with 39,000. Number 9, BTS, Air Rain, 34,000. Number 10, Olivia Dean, The Art of Lovin', 34,000. Going down the list, Drake, Habibti, number 20 with 26,000. Drake, Take Care, number 31 with 22,000. Legitimately, this is Drake when it comes to hip-hop. That's crazy. Drake, Maid of Honor, number 46 with 17,000. Drake, Views, number 47 with 17,000. And that's it. Basically, Drake, man. There's no other artists on here in hip-hop that's in the top 50 right now. That is interesting. But yeah, that's it for album sales. Charts, Taylor Swift is at number 1, I guess, a Toy Story 5 soundtrack song called I Knew It, I Knew You. Debuted at number 1, which is crazy. So I guess her record goes up. I think they're all tied for number 1 debuts. And now Taylor Swift is 1 spot above Drake. Choosing Texas, Ella Langley, number 2. Genesis, STFU, Drake, number 3. Number 4, Be Her, Ella Langley. Number 5, Hate That I Made You Love Me, Ariana Grande. Number 6, I Just Might, Bruno Mars. Number 7, Man I Need, Olivia Dean. Number 8, So Easy, Olivia Dean. Number 9, I Can't Love You Anymore, Ella Langley. And number 10, Dracula, Tame Impala and Janie. Drake, Shebang, number 11. That song is starting to potentially climb up because I'm seeing it all over TikTok. I don't really like the record, to be honest with you. Number 21, Ran to Atlanta, Drake. Number 23, Whisper My Name, Drake. Number 26, National Treasures, Drake. Number 27, Chicago, Michael Jackson. Number 30, Too Hard for the Radio, Drake. Mac Miller, Cinderella, number 31. E85, Don Toliver, number 32. Pop That Thing, DaBaby, number 36. Human Nature, Michael Jackson, number 37. Motion Party, Boss Mandilo, number 38. Boss Mandilo getting some hits here and there. Plot Twist, Drake, number 45. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Michael Jackson, number 46. Bees on the Table, Drake, number 48. So Drake still has a few songs on the charts, man. Dust, Drake, number 52. Make Them Pay, Drake, number 54. Body, Don Toliver, number 56. T.I. Let 'Em Know, number 58. What Did I Miss? Drake, number 60. Burning Bridges, Drake, number 61. I'm Spent, Drake, number 63. Interesting. So Drake's got a few, man, still on here. Don't Worry, Drake, number 73. Make Them Cry, Drake, number 79. Lil Birdie, Drake, number 81. Classic, Drake, number 86. French Montana, Max B, Ever Since You Left Me, number 89, re-entry, probably because the New York Knicks won the championship. WNBA, number 90, Drake. Yeah, that is it for the Billboard Hot 100, and that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys. Stream us, Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.